The thunderstorms brought a lot of these ones down. Oh, it wasn't a thunderstorm, it was just wind and rain. But these are opening up. A lot more. And of course, the ground is littered with little bits of purple and red. So, can you spot what I did this evening? I made the hedge a little bit more arable. And I made one of my biennial massive heaps of hedge clippings. Wow. That's a lot to deal with. They burn pretty good in about 2 months, but like, what do you do with them until then? And also, the fires end up being like 15 feet tall. It's a lot. I feel like if I had a rocket stove, I would never have to worry about having fuel, because Chinese privet, which is this flower-covered crap that I just cut down, is just ridiculous. You know, most people keep it like, basically, it's the same as pollard did. You trim it into a nice box or whatever, but my neighbor and I, the neighbor before, I really wish he'd just taken them out, you know? I took mine out. These aren't mine. So the neighbor before, you can kind of see the height he kept them at. So it's where it goes from being very branched here to just like sticks from there on up. And I'd say these are somewhere between 15 and 20 foot tall. And some of them like droop down over. If I don't trim it real harsh like this, you can see how long some of these sticks are. If I don't trim it this harsh, then it just swallows my trees. And as I've mentioned, I got 4 blossoms on the apple and none on the pear this year because they didn't get enough sun. And I'm strongly considering just letting them grow, but as you can see, they're all growing just like, well, maybe you can't see, just like straight towards the house. So it would be heavily balanced in the house's direction. There's no growth. There's no new growth on the back. It's just what I've tied in. I didn't trim this at all. It's just not going to grow in that direction because there's no sun there. And they're all coming this way. So I can't really just let it grow a natural form at this point. So I just kind of keep fighting the hedge. All 15 or so feet of it, and you can see the like etched out concave space that I created here behind. And I do kind of want to keep going with it, but at the moment just having a little bit of open. And there's a couple of more that I want to take out, big branches, like big enough that I need to get the saw. So we'll see how I do. I also, on the sweet cherry, I dumped a bit more ash, this being nitrogen treated ash, onto its like drip line or whatever, because it's starting to yellow and drop its leaves again. It's verticillium wilt prone, and unless I treat the heck out of that part of the garden, I don't know if I'm ever going to get cherries off of it. It might just end up being a waste of space. It's frustrating, so we'll see how that goes, but at the moment it's not looking like it likes this year. I do kind of want to trim the lead branch too. I don't know if you can see, yeah, because there's like just this awkward tuft about 4 feet above the rest of the plant, but I don't know, we'll see what it does. But we'll go see it. My neighbor's actually doing stuff. That's different. You know, like, for example, that did have leaves on it. Last year it was everything but the tips that lost. But And some of them were yellowing and stuff, so I put a bunch more. Potassium's what's called foreign verticillium wilt, and it can cause very sudden collapse of entire woody plants. Really almost lost that tree in the space of about a month and a half last year. So the asparagus all bolted while I was at VandaliaCon. That's okay. I'm good. I probably could, I could get a couple more of these. So even when the asparagus is all bolted, you can still get, like, the new growth. Like, that'll be edible. Some of these aren't, producing additional branches, but you know, that's alright. These are so huge. Those are just massive. So, yeah, that's the asparagus. Cherries and Juneberries are coming along. We'll go take a look at those. Sorry if it's, like, bouncing. Yeah, I think the Juneberries are, like, around a week out, and then a week or two on these. We had a colder spring this year than last year. Last year this time was harvest time for cherries. But like a little bit more ripe than that is when I try and pick them. Like soft. That one's still pretty hard, but still red instead of black, because otherwise the birds get them. And then I let them ripen in the basket before freezing or eating them. They're pretty good. They're a little bland, but pretty good. They're a native plant, and I've seen they've started to seed. I am pretty sure that this little guy that I potted up is another Saskatoon, which is cool. Pretty sure that's what that is. So, and I'm looking forward to finding out what I got off my brother here, because one of them's gonna bloom. I don't think the rest of them are. Not this year anyway, but because like here's one, and a couple, and the tips kind of snapped a little in transit. It happens. But the tree lily buds are budding up. The tree lily bulbs that I broke the growing portion off of don't seem to be doing anything this year, because there's like 3 or 4 there, and there's a bunch more here. But as long as they come back up next year, I'll be happy. And I've had maybe 1.5 dozen strawberries already. Not quite. Not quite. Not quite. Yeah, so those are the ones that I left for tomorrow when I was harvesting today. And we'll see if I actually get to them first. The few of the new planted variety that I got to taste are a bit bland. They're a little watery, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe that was just a trick. And then for the first time, so I retransplanted these last year, and this plant is a different variety. It almost died. So it will be interesting to see if it decides to do any fruit. Oh, I'm sorry, I was pointing in the wrong direction. So this one almost died, but it made it. And there's this rock hard little wannabe fruit right there. So and then the other blossoms got bit off. So I might not find out this year, but it's stable now. It's not trying to die. So that's what's going on today. It is May 30th of 2018. The rock crop, the yellow sedum, is pointing out the reason why it's called yellow sedum. And the ground underneath all of my plants is like, pwah, I'm yellow. That's the sound effect it makes, in case you were wondering. Pwah. And it's kind of pretty. I like it. It hasn't bloomed quite as profusely as it did last year, but it's still very, very nice. Like last year, this entire, it was just blanketed in yellow. But there's still quite a bit. Like in here is looking stronger bloom. All along here and back in there. It's a nice ground cover. I like it. There you go, the neighbor's screaming again. Whatever. Purple. And I do like red clover. It's easy to remove should I wish to remove it. And it's a nitrogen fixer. It gets pretty tall its second year. I had kind of forgotten about that, but you know, they're happy in amongst the asparagus and everything here too, so it's good. The irises are finishing up. The echinacea are budding up. I have no idea what these are other than wild. And they bloom like daisies, but I guess they're daytime bloomers and they close up at night. And where was it? It was up here, I think I saw. Yeah, they're starting to bud. And that's the echinacea, so good stuff. And the fruits on these are still super green. Yep. That's about it. Sunchoke. Elderberry starting to bloom. All the things. Let's see if we can reach it. It's an American elderberry with some weed trees in between I gotta take care of. And this super invasive honeysuckle everywhere over the cliffside. I grew up drinking the nectar out of the flowers. It's about the time to be doing that. Like, I think around about this ripeness. Just nip the bottom off and suck it out. That's all. Yeah, and I've been sneezing all day. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's annoying. I don't like it. Happy spring. Happy Wednesday. Bye.